So welcome back guys. So this is the lecture 4 of this Python series. So in this lecture we are going to learn loops in Java. This is the part 2 of this conditional statements. Okay. So loops in Java, definitely you know this. Loops are very important. Loops and if else condition statements. These are very much important. These are the basic fundamentals. You should know these topics to understand the advanced topics. If you want to learn DSA data structures, then these two topics are must and should. You have to learn all the topics definitely, but in all those topics, these if else condition statements are very much important. These two topics are very important: loops and conditional statements. That is if else, nested if else, all these things. So do understand the code correctly and do accordingly. Okay, we'll move on to the loops in Java. So we have first one is while loop. So I will demonstrate a simple code first and I will explain why loops are required. Let's say I want to print hello 5 times. So what we have to do until now, what we have learned from that knowledge, we will print hello 5 times. Okay, we'll print hello. Again, what you have to do, just copy this, paste, 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 paste. So for printing hello 5 times, you are writing print statement how many times? Five times. If you execute this, you will get definitely you will get hello 5 times. But see, we have written the same thing again and again. Print hello, print hello, print hello. This is consuming more memory and also it takes a huge amount of time, right? So writing the same code again and again. But we don't use this method to print anything repeatedly. So the thing is repeating again and again. For this purpose, what we will use is we will use loops. Loops are used to just print the same thing again and again until how much times we want that particular thing to be get executed. So let's say we want to print hello 5 times using loops. Let's say we'll use while loop. In while loop, you just want to initialize the initializer in the beginning of the while loop itself. Let's say I will initialize I with 0, then I will do what? While loop here. While I is less than, here see, how many times we want to print hello? 5 times, right? So it is initiating with 0, means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should be true until 4, means I should be less than equals 4. What we have to print? Print hello. So after printing hello world, what you have to do? You have to increment this I, right? Otherwise, what it will happen? It will happen like infinite looping. So you will just increment I is equals to I plus 1. You are not allowed to use I plus plus because that is not allowed in Python. Okay, just be careful with this. You just increment I with I plus 1. If you run this code, you can see hello 5 times. So see, this code is what? Logical. Okay, previously we have written 5 lines of hello, hello, print hello, print hello, print hello. That's fine. Only 5 lines, right? We can write it manually. If it is of 100 times, if it is of 200 times, then what you have to do? You have to write 200 lines of code. That is print hello, print hello. Using loops, just change this condition. I is less than equals to 200. Then do this particular thing. If I run the thing, then it will print hello 200 times, right? So loops will make easy the things. It will helps in optimizing the code. What actually loops do? It just perform the same task again and again. These loops are used to do what? To perform that same task again and again. Okay. So we have demonstrated with while loop. Let's say we have initialized I with 10. Okay. Is I less than equals to 4? Here itself it is getting false, right? If it is getting false, let's say the user should know what is actually happening. So here you can use else block as well. Just like is in if and else, we can use else block with while loops as well. If I type else, let's say we'll print what? Initializing 10 is not less than equals to 4. So initialization is not correct. Let's say we'll print this because what? Initialized with 10 and the condition is should be less than 4. Here itself condition is getting false. So this thing won't execute even at 1 times. It will directly, if it is false, it will directly the control will move on to else block and it will execute this. So what it will print now? Initialization is not correct. Is that correct? So this condition is getting false. Similarly, like if is present in this place also, what was happening? If this condition is false, it was moving to the else block, right? Control was moving. So similarly, in the similar way, so if this condition is getting false, the control will move on to the else block. That's it. Now we will solve this particular problem, that is print first n natural numbers, prompt user to read n. Okay, prompt user to read n means read a number n from the user. N is equals to what? How to read a number from user? This thing, right? In input, enter a number. So what we have to do? We have to print first n natural numbers, means first how many what will be the value of n, the user will enter the number. Up to that number, what we have to do? We have to print natural numbers, all the natural numbers. Let's say we will initialize I with 0. Okay. Here what we have to write? We have to write a condition, means how many times or till what we have to run the loop. So what is the condition here? First n natural numbers, means from the 0 we have to run till n, right? Because for first n natural numbers it will start from 0 to till n. So what we have to write the condition here? I should be less than, till n means it may includes n. So what we will do? We will do I less than equals n, and what will print? Print I. This thing will print what? This particular I value. First, at the first iteration, I will be what? I will be 0. After I will be getting printed. Then after printing, what we have to do? We have to update I is equals to I plus 1. Then after updating I, again the control will come to here. Then what will be the I will be getting into 2. Then again it will checks for is 2 less than equals to n. Yes, it is false. Then again print I. Again I will be getting incremented. Then I will be 2 plus 1 3. Again it will checks for 3. Until how many times? Until the condition n is, this condition get false. When this condition get false, just the control will be come out of the loop. If I run this, it will ask for a number. Let's say I want first 5 natural numbers. If I put enter, see it is printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see this. The user is asking for first 5 natural numbers, but it is printing including 0, 6. Why? Because we are including n as well. If I remove this equals, if I run now, it will print only the first 5 natural numbers. See. So this is how we are going to use this increment functionality and condition, how to initialize the iterator, then how to update the iterator. This is the updation part, this is the initialization part, and this is what? This is the condition part. So the loop will terminate based on what? Based on this condition. Okay. So if you miss this thing, the loop will be getting infinite loop, means it will be running unlimited time. Next problem we have is write a program to calculate sum of all the numbers from 1 to given number. Here we have printed from 0 to n, means particular number for 4. So if we want to find sum of these particular numbers, what we have to change here? I will just copy the same code. I will paste it here. We don't want to print the numbers. Instead, we have to print sum of these numbers. What we will do? We don't print number, right? So we will remove this print function. We have to print the sum of these numbers, means let's say I will initialize sum is equals to 0 initially. At each and every iterator, what we have to do? We have to add this number to the sum, right? If I add 0 to sum, what will be the sum? Sum will be 0. If I add 1 to the sum is equals to sum plus 1, then sum will be 1. If I add 2 to the sum, previously sum is what? Sum is 1, and now we have to add 2 to the sum, then the current sum will be 2 plus the previous sum, that is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. We have sum 3 in the sum. Then if I move to the next iterator, we have 3. We have to add this to the current sum. Current sum is what? 3. 3 plus 3 what? 6. Again, if we move on to the next iterator 4, what was the previous sum? Previous sum was 6. 6 plus 4 is what? 10. So instead of printing the numbers, what we will do is we will just add that number to the sum. Sum will be what? Sum is equals to sum plus current iterator I, right? So initially sum was 0. So sum is equals to sum is, this is 0, and I we should write it from 1, because they have asked it like write a program to calculate sum from numbers from 1 to n. So n is this number, up to n the condition will loop will run. Initially if I dry run this code, initially I is what? I is 1, and sum is what? Sum is 0. Now entering the loop, sum will be what? Sum will be sum plus I, means sum was what initially? Sum was 0 plus I was what now? 1. The sum will be initially 1. Then after completion of the first iteration, sum will be 1. And I is what? I is getting incremented now. For the second iteration, I is 2. And sum is what? Sum we have to take it from here, right? Sum is was 1, updated with 1. So sum is 1. Now again, inside the loop, what is happening? So sum is getting updated with sum plus I. What is the sum here? Sum is 1. Sum is 1. And what is I? I, you can see here I is 2. If you add the 2, then you will get what? 3. So similarly, dry run for rest of the code. You can see how to dry run the code. Just go on iterating for each and every value of I and just update the sum value here and just update the I value here. At the end of the completion of this loop, you will get the sum of this particular first n natural numbers from 1. Okay. If I want to print the sum, I will just print like this. If I run this number code, now let's say I will enter 10. It is displaying 45. Why? Actually, the sum of first 10 numbers is 55, right? 1 to 10. It is displaying only 45. Why? See, here we are running from 1 to, this is not including n, right? Because n minus 1, it is running from 1 to n minus 1. That is 10 minus 1 is what? 9. Up to 9 it is running. It is not including the 10. If you want to include the 10, what we have to do? We have to just equals this to n. Then if I enter 10 now, it will display 55. So this is how we are going to find the sum of first n natural numbers. So we will move on to the next topic, that is for loop. Okay, this is one kind of loop, that is while loop, and this is another kind of loop which is again used for the same. That is what? That is for doing a task again and again, performing a task again and again. This will also do the same task which is done by the while loop, but here what you will do is you will do initialization and condition in the same line itself. Here you can see initialization is here and the condition is here and the updation is where? Updation is here, right? All these things are in the separate lines, but in for loop you are going to write all the things in a single line only. Let's say I will write a simple syntax for the for loop. For, this is a keyword for loop. Then for I in range, let's say I will use range function. I will explain what actually range function is. So this is what? This is an iterator. It is not necessary that we should write I only. We can write any keywords, let's say k, n, t, anything. I in range of, let's say 5, just print 5. Sorry, print I. If I run this, it will print numbers from 0 to less than 5, that is 4. It will print 0 to 4. Now I will explain what actually this thing, and what is the number inside this. So this is the line where initialization, condition and updation, all the things are going on. So this is what? Iterator. Initially I is what? In the range of 5 means from 0 to this particular 5 is there now, we will do -1 with this number, and till that number the loop will run. Means if we enter 5 here, the loop will run till 4. Means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will execute, not including 5. Okay, it will run from 0 to 5, but not including 5. So by default, the for loop will update the iterator I value, whatever we have the I value, it will update I value by 1 by default. If we want to update I value by 2, we can give the command here as third command. Let's say I want to update I by 2 at each and every iterations. Okay, we'll just do this as 2. And one more thing is here, we have to initialize the number as well for performing this. 1 to 5. If we write 3 things inside, so this is where the actual loop is starting. I is initially with 1, initialized with 1, and I should be end at what index? End at 5th index, and I should be getting updated with +2 each and every iteration. Okay, I will initialized with 1, and I will run till the condition is less than 5, means till 4, and for each, after performing each and every iteration, the I value is getting updated with what? 2. So this is what updation, this is what from starting point, this is the ending point, and this is what iterator. So this is what? This is initialization, this is condition, this is what? Updation. So here you can see initialization, condition and updation, right? The same thing. Here we are writing within the range from the 1 till 5, do the thing and update the iterator by 2 at each and every iteration. If I do this, we will get only what? 1 and 3. Why 1 and 3? We are starting with 1. We have printed 1. Okay, now we have to update this I with what? Plus 2 means 1 plus 2 means 3. Now we will print 3. Then 3 should be updated with what? Plus 2, right? So 3 plus 2 is what? 5. Is 5 less than 5? No. So it won't print, right? So this won't print. So this is what for loop. So range function is, this is for defining a range from 1 till 5, do the loop from 1 till 5, do the loop and update the iterator after each and every iteration by this particular number. You can write any number here. That is not necessary that you should write 2 itself. You should not, you should write 1, 5, 2 itself. That is not necessary. You can write as your wish, as your requirements. So this is how actually loop for loop will work. So we will also use else keyword. We can also use else keyword with this. See, if the condition initially for I in the range of 1 comma 5 comma 2, if this condition got false at any time, let's say if I print loop ended, if I execute this, see, if this loop terminate at any time, then at the end of the loop, when that loop got terminated, this else block will get executed. Definitely this loop will be what? The condition should be false at some particular time, right? Now only if I update after printing 1, the iterator will be getting updated with 3, then we will print 3. Again, the iterator will be getting updated with what? 5. Now, if we check 5 is less than 5, no, it is not less than. So the condition got false, then else block is get executed. So 1 is printed, 3 is printed, then the loop ended is printed. Right? Did you understand why we can use else and how to use the else and how the else block is getting executed when it is used with along with the for loop? Now we will solve this problem, that is write a program to print multiplication table of a given number. Let's say we'll just give a simple introduction. Let's say how to print a table. Let's say I take a number 2. I want to print a table of 2. What will be the table of the 2? 2 into 1 is equals to 2, right? Then 2 into 2 is equals to what? 4. Then 2 into 3 is equals to what? 6. Again 2 into 4, what? 8. Enough. So if you see this clearly, you can see this thing is not getting changed. That is 2, 2, 2, 2 is not getting changed. This is common. What is this actually? This is n, right? If a user gives n, we have to print the multiplication table of n, right? If a user wants a multiplication table of 2, he will enter 2. Then we have to print the multiplication table of 2. So this thing is getting not getting changed. So this is constant for all the multiplication table values. What actually changing here is this thing 1 2 3 4, right? So this thing is what getting changed. So what actually happening here is initially the iterator was 1. After performing first function, then the iterator is getting updated with 2, then 3, then 4, right? So it is getting updated till, if you want to print multiplication tables, what actually the condition? We will print from 2 ones are 2 to 2 tens are 20, right? So till 10 it should perform, right? Lastly 2 into 10s are 20, it should perform till 10. So we have to run loop from where to where? We have to run loop from 1 to 10. Then what is the result of this? What is the result? Result is the multiplication or a product of the current iterator I and the user entered number n, right? See, user entered number is 2, then current iterator is 1, then 2 ones are 2, correct? Then let's say iterator is now 2, the user entered number is n is 2, then 2 twos are 4, correct? The iterator is updated with 3 and the user entered value is 2. 3 into 2 what? 6, correct? So what we have to perform? We will just loop a thing for I in range of, till how many times we have to run the loop? We have to run the loop including 10, right? Including 10, less than equals to 10. Why including 10? Because 2 tens are 20 should be printed. So here what we have to write? Should we write 10? Is that correct? No, this is not correct. Why? If we write 10, the loop will terminate when I becomes 9 itself. But we want 10 also. And we don't want 0, right? If we write like this, the condition initialization will be from 0 till 9. If we want it from 1 to 10, then what we have to do? We have to write 1 from, this is the starting, and where we have to terminate? We have to terminate at 10, But if we write a 10 here, that loop will terminate at 9 itself. So here we will write 11. Then now what we have to print? We have to print this table in this particular format. 2 into 1 is equals to 2. What we will do? Print. See, you can see here, this is what? This is n, right? Of course, we are not read n till n is equals to int of input, enter a number. So initially, what is this? This is n, right? We have to print n as it is. If I print this as it is without using double quotes means the value which is present in the n will be printed as it is, and we are separating with comma means concatenating. Okay, concatenating the different outputs in a single printf statement, print statement. Now I have printed with 2. Now what I have to print? I have to print star, this star, right? In order to print star, what we can use? We can use double quotes. Inside this, we will type just this star. Let me give some space also, because for here we can see the space. So we will give space as well. After printing star, what we have to print? We have to print this iterator, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. It is getting updated. What actually in this loop is getting updated? I is getting updated, right? Initially I was 1. Then after performing the first state, it will be getting updated with what? 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, up to where? Up to 10. So we have to print the iterator I. Then after printing iterator I, this thing is got printed, right? Now what we have to print? We have to print equals with a small space before and after that. So in order to print that, what we will do? We will use double quotes. Again, we will use equals. Again, double quotes. Now at the end, what we have to print? We have to print the product of this 2 and 1, right? 2 is what? N. 1 is what? Iterator. That is n into iterator is what? I. You can see here n into I is equals to n into I, correct? What is n into I? N into I is the result which is here present here. Now if I execute this, what you will get? It is asking for a number to enter. Let's say I will enter 2. You can see the output here. 2 ones are what? 2, 2 twos are what? 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8, 2 fives are 10, 2 tens are 20. So this is how we are going to print the multiplication table for any given input number n. So user will enter a number n, then you have to print the multiplication table, then use this particular code, then print. Now what we have to do is, the next question is display numbers from -1 to -10. Here you should be very careful. It is not 1 to 10. If it is 1 to 10, what you are doing? Print in the range of 1 till 11, the same way you used here. So this is the condition for printing 1 to 10. But here you are asking -1 to -10. If I print directly, like if I copy this particular loop, and I will change this to -1 till how much? Till -10, right? So -10 means -11, till -11. If I print I, will this give me the correct result? See, I have not got any output because condition starting itself it got failed. In order to do this, that is from -1 to -10, what we have to do? I was initialized with -1. So this is correct. I should be got printed, right? And after this, for updating -1 to -2, what we have to do? Is that +1? If we add +1 to this, what will be the result? 0. But that is not required. We have to print -2, right? After printing -1, we have to print -2. Means what we have to do? Updation should be what? Updation should be -1, right? So initially -1 is got printed. Then it is updated with -1, which is -2. Then -2 is got printed. Then again it is got updated with -2, -1, which is -3. Then -3 will be getting printed. Till where? Till it is less than -11, means -10. Till -10 it will got printed, which is less than -11. If I run this now, you will get output -1 to -10. So this is how you will be going to use this range function or modify this range function as per your requirements. Okay, we will move on to the nested loops here. So these all are like only single loops. Only you can find only single loop and functioning or performing some functions inside this. What is actually nested loops is? Nested loops is using loops within the loops. Means if you want to print multiplication table, let's say you have printed the multiplication table for only what? Only given n number n, that is 2. If you want to print the multiplication table from 1 to 20, all the tables, means 1 ones are, 2 ones are, 3 ones are, 4 ones are, till 20 ones are 20. all the tables, how you are going to do? How you are going to do? You have to repeat the same thing how many times? 20 times, right? So this thing is performing the multiplication of only one table. You have to print the multiplication table for all the 20 digits, means you have to run this how many times? 20 times, right? Right? We will just copy this. We will do what? We'll just paste this particular code here. Now we have to run how many times? For, let's say, use another iterator I in the range of how many times? 20 times. So j starts with 0, right? We don't want it starts from 0. We'll start from 1. J was initially 1. It should go till 20, including 20, right? So if we want to run the loop including 20, what we have to do? We have to increment this by 1. Why? Because if I write 20 here, the loop will terminate at the 19 itself. So 20 will not get executed. So we will write 21 here. Now j in the range of 1 to 11. Now, if I use I in the range of 1 to 11, what will be the value of this n? What will be the value of this n? If I read n for this particular table, we are reading n. Why? Because we want to print the table of 2. But here we want to print the table from 1 to where? From 1 to 20, right? So that is j. J is indexing from where? 1 to 20. So what we have to use here? We have to use j. J here high, and again n is replaced with j. After performing this particular single looping, what we will do is, after printing this, just give a print function and run this. So you can see the all the tables, right? See, you can see from 1 ones are table 2, 1 ones are 2 ones are 3 ones are 4 ones are 5 ones are till 20 ones are. You can see all the tables of from 1 ranging to 20. So this is how we are going to print multiplication table from 1 to 20. You can see only small code but giving a large amount of output. Right, so we will move on to the problem. So write a program to print the following number pattern using a loop. You have to print the loop. Okay, using actually we will use nested loops for solving this problem. I will tell why. You can see here we have elements along this rows. One, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. Right, so we have 5 rows along the columns as well, right? On the first row, how many columns are there? First column, this is first column. Second column, then this is what? 3 3 3, fourth column. Third column, 4 4 is fourth column. The last 5 is fifth column. We have 5 rows and 5 columns. We want to print this particular pattern. So in order to print the pattern, you should know the matrix, how to use the matrix to solve this particular type of problems. You can see here we have 5 rows and 5 columns, right? So 5 rows and 5 columns. We have to run loops how many times? 5 times, right? So in order to run 5 times from 1 to, but also you can see here what are those values, how these values are getting printed. This you have to see. You got one thing, that is we have to run a nested loop for indexing the ranges first, rows, then columns. Let's say if I go for the first row, I am printing with only one value. If I go for the second row, we are printing with two values. If I go for the third row, we are printing three values. If I go for the fourth row, we are printing four values. So the number of values which are printed in each row is related to what? Is related to the number of rows. Sorry, number of columns in that. Right? For 5 I in range, if I take, we have to run how many times? Because number of rows times, right? We have 5 rows here. So we have to run this 5 times. That is 1 to 6. Why 6? Tell me why 6. If I include 5 here, it will just run till 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. It got ended. If I use 6 here, it will run till 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5 number of rows. So I in range of 1 comma 6. Now we entered into the number of rows. It is iterating what? The number of rows. Means if I is 1, it is at the first row. If I is 2, it is at the second row. If I is 3, it is at the third row. Then for each and every row, what we have to do? For each and every row, we have to print elements for how many columns? How many columns? Tell me. The number of rows times columns, right? Because if I is 1, we have to print only one column, the value of I. If I is 2, we want to print the two columns with the value of ranging from 1 to that particular I, that is 2. If I is 3, we want to print how many elements? We want to print 3 elements, right? If I is 4, we have to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 elements. If I is 5, that is fifth row, we have to print 5 elements, which is ranging from 1 to 5. So, what we have to print is, for each and every rows, we have to print j in the range of 1 to where? 1 to where? 1 to this particular I, right? Why I? The number of rows. See, if it is first row, we want to print how many elements? Only one element, right? So 1 plus, if it is 1, how many elements should be printed? Only one element, means j should be what? J should be equals to I. So j should be ranging from 1 to I plus 1, right? Why I plus 1? If I write directly I, 1 to 1, then even 1 is not got printed. Why? The loop will run till less than 1, means 0. So in order to just come out of this, we will use what? I plus 1. Now what we have to print? Now what we have to print? So just think this. From this loop, we have entered the rows. First row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. Let's say I is 1. Let's say I is 5. Let's say I is 5. Okay. So I is 5 means we are in this line. Now, for j in the range of 1 to I plus 1. What is I plus 1 here? I is 5. Then 5 plus 1 is what? 6. So, j is ranging from 1 to 6. And we want to print 1 to 6 but not including 6, right? So, for j in the range of 1 to 6, we have to print all the elements. What we have to print here then? We have to print j, right? See here, for j in the range of 1 to I plus 1, let's say we are in the fifth row. So I value will be what? I value will be 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So this loop will run from 1 to 6 but not including the 6. Definitely means 1 to 5. And it will print what? 1 j value. That is j is what? J is initially 1. It will got printed. Then j will be what? J will be 2. Then 2 will be get printed. Then j will be what? 3. Then 3 will be get printed. 4 will be get printed. Then 5 will be get printed. Then if it is 6, the condition will get false. Then the loop will get back or get terminated. If I run this, you can see here. Of course, you can see all these things in the same line because we are not giving the end space here. If I use this end, after each and every inner loop iteration, means after printing each and every elements in this inner loop, what it will do is it will just concatenate the numbers in the end of this previous number itself. If I print 1 now, then the next print statement is just concatenated with the previous one itself. And also after completing each and every loop, here we can see after performing a function on each and every rows, what we have to do? We have to move into the next line, right? So after performing each and every inner loop, we have to move into the next line. So in order to do that, just do this print. If I run this now, so here you can see here, so this will, what it will do is it will stop the loop from moving this print element to next line whenever this print statement is executed. Okay, and this print statement we are using for moving to the next line. Whenever we are done with printing the one row, then we have to go to the new line for printing the second row, right? So for this work, we are going to use this print here, empty print function. Why end is used is, end is used to provide space after each and every element, and it allows that element should not move to the next line after printing each and every element. Means if I print 1 here, end will just give a space after 1. It won't allow the next element to be printed to the next line. Okay, this will maintain the iterator in the current line itself. It won't allow the iterator to move to the next line. So here you can see the expected output. So this is same, right? Okay, we'll move on to the next concept, that is break, continue, and pass statement. I think many of you know break and continue, and as well also I have explained pass here itself somewhere in the above. So just go through that once. So once I will explain what is break and continue here. So break is used to terminate the loop when a given condition is true. Let's say I'm running a loop while I is greater than 0. Let's say I is initialized with 1. I is initialized with 1 and I is greater than 0. Okay. I is greater than 0. Is this true? Is this true? You can see here I is 1 and 1 is greater than 0. Definitely this is true. And what we will do is we'll just print hello. We'll try to print hello and we are going to update I with what? I with 1. Okay, what we are going to do here is we are printing hello and we are just updating I. How many times this loop will run? Just pause the video and think once and just then again see the video. Yes, see, I is initialized with 1. Condition is checking. Is 1 greater than 0? True. Hello is printed. Then 1 is get updated with means I is getting updated with 1 plus 1, that is 2. Is 2 greater than 0? True. Print hello. Again 2 is plus 1, then it will be 3. I will be 3. Then again 3 is greater than 0. Again this is also true. Hello is printed. Then again I is what? I is getting updated with I plus 1, that is 3 plus 1 is 4. So this loop is infinite. So this loop is what? Infinite. So if we want to terminate when I is 5, then what we have to do? We just add a if condition here. Then we will write what? If I is equals to 5, just break the loop. So that's it, guys. That's it. If I run this, how many times the hello will be printed? How many times? Hello will be printed only 4 times. Why 4 times? When I is 1, hello will be printed. Then I is 2, hello is printed. Then I will be 3, hello is printed. I is 4, hello is printed. Then I is 5. Here you can see here, if I is 5, it is getting break. So hello is printed only how many times? 4 times. If I run this, you can see here hello is printed only 4 times. Okay. So this is the use of break statement. Let's say I will demonstrate one code for continue as well. If you want to print even numbers between 1 and 10, okay, for this purpose what you will do, you will use a for loop for I in range of 1 to 11, means 1 to 10, right? So it will initialize with 1 and it will move till 11 but not including 11. So now if you want to print even numbers, means what you do, if I mod 2 is 0, you will just do what? You will print I. If it is not, you just print, you will just type continue. See, this is actually not required, but if you want to use this continue, and this is a very like a standard form of coding in Python. So if you use this else condition with, if it is not an even number, just continue with the loop, bro. Just go to this loop and again perform the tasks which are required. Okay, you can continue in this in this particular type of code. You can use the continue statement. So break and continue is done, and pass statement I have done in the above code. So I think this concept is done. So we'll solve one problem on this particular break statement. Okay, print even numbers between 10 and 20. See here we have printed even numbers between what? 1 and 11, right? So I will just copy the same code here. I will paste the code. Everything is copy paste if you learned the concept correctly. Okay, we have to print the even numbers between where? 10 to 20. So I in range of from 10. If you want to print till 20, means between 20, not asking including 20. So between 10 and 20 they are asking. So we don't want this 10, we have to initialize this with 11. Why? Because between 10 and 20 means 10 should not be included, right? So if 10 should not be included means we should increment this with 11. We cannot, if we increment this with 9, what it will happen? Again the 10 will get included. So if we want to include this 10, we have to increment this by 1. If we keep this as 11, and if we want to print between 10 and 20, between 10 and 20 means 20 is not including. So 20 is not including means we have to print till 20. Why 20? If we write here 21, 20 will get included, right? If we write 21 here, 20 is getting included. So if we write 20 here, 20 will not get included because 20 itself, the condition will be getting false and it will move on to the next line. If I run this now, you can find even numbers which are present between 10 and 20. See, 12, 14, 16, 18, right? That's it, guys. This is how we are going to use this continue. statement. Even if you delete this thing and run, the output will be same. Output will be same. Output won't affect. Okay, guys, this is for this video. I think this and the previous video is got again bit lengthy, but these are very important, guys. Please do watch this video and learn the things correctly, because these things will help you in the next upcoming videos. Okay, guys, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.